Hi guys, Rachel with Inspireful Women. We're gonna go over the bicep curl today. So let's talk about real everyday ways, like when do I actually do those things? So if you think about carrying groceries in, I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person that likes to try to get all of my bags in one trip, which tends to be very heavy. So carrying your grocery bags in is a major, that's totally, you're working your biceps right there. The other day, because I've been doing a lot more bicep curls than I had never done them in the past for years before, I had to carry a couple 5-gallon buckets of something for my husband, and I was so surprised at how much more capable I felt. So that's just another example. The other is like when you're holding your kids or your grandkids in your arms, you know how like your arms will just get so tired? Well, a lot of that is your bicep muscles. So holding them, that works that as well. I'm thinking of even things where you're pulling. So say you're in the garden and you're pulling weeds out. You know, think about how you do it. You grab it and you pull and you kind of pull up. That's again your bicep working. One other thing, I would just try to keep my mind like thinking when I do stuff these days of what muscles are working when I'm doing different things. It's when you pull pans of stuff out of the oven. You know, sometimes like say you have a whole chicken and potatoes in there or whatever, or turkey or something, those get pretty heavy and you're leaning over and you're pulling it out and it's like super hot. You're like trying not to burn yourself, but those are very heavy. I have a cast iron skillet that we cook burgers on, and the same thing because it's just kind of one handle. So I try to get it with one hand, and it's very heavy. So doing bicep curls or doing any sort of training with your biceps is going to help all of those things. Let's get into position. We want to have our feet about hip width apart, whatever's comfortable, and your knees are going to be soft. So they're not going to be super bent, but they're not going to be locked out. So you're going to have them, let me show you from the side, just kind of soft. Your hands will be by your side with a neutral grip where your palms are facing your hips. And you want to have your core, this does involve the use of your core, so you want to have a little bit of tightness around your core. Keep your shoulders down and then your head just straight forward. The one thing I can tell you to keep in mind about this movement that will help you do it right so that you really get the right muscle activation is to keep your elbows stationary during the whole movement. So I'll show you in a little bit what can be easy to happen, but basically you want to just keep your elbows at your sides for the whole time. Keep your body upright and tall. I'm going to show you the movement now from the side so you can see what my arm does. So as you lift your arms, you're going to turn the dumbbell so that your palms are facing up once you passed your hips. So you can't do it here, right? Because my booty's in the way. But basically you just raise your arms and turn them once you get past your hips, and then curl all the way up as far as you can go and do a squeeze at the top, really squeeze, and then slowly lower them down. And notice, and then you turn the dumbbells as you hit the bottom like that. And notice, watch my elbows this time, how they stay in the same place. So the hardest part to get for this, I would say, is just kind of the turning of the dumbbell when you're starting and at the end. So an easier way to do it just when you're first starting, if you like, is to actually just keep your palms facing up for the entire thing. So you can just hold them like this and curl up and then lower back down and just keep them like that. So if you're having trouble with the turning of the dumbbell, you can totally do that and that's fine. Let me show you from the front with the turning of the dumbbell though. So up, turn the dumbbell, squeeze at the top, lower, and as you get closer to your hips, you just turn them back towards your sides again. Here's how to do bicep curls with bands. I'm going to show you with a few different types. So This is a TheraBand. It's like one long piece of like a very thin rubber. These are the more like regular resistance type bands you might have seen. To do a bicep curl, you're gonna need a pretty lightweight one like this. And then there's also the types of bands where you can attach a handle and you can attach, you know, one little noodle looking one or do multiple to increase the tension. With the TheraBand or the regular resistance band that doesn't have a handle, you can either stand on it with 1 foot, you can stand on it with 2, you can do a split stance like I showed you earlier, like that. But so any of those are okay. And then with the band, you can either hold the ends like this, or you can also wrap them around your hands. That would obviously make more resistance, so that might be good, or maybe you need a lighter band if you do that, but that might be just a little bit more comfortable for your hands. I'll just do it on 1 foot right now, but basically just do the same thing to curl your arms up. Show you from the side. Slow on the lower. And as far as where the bands are, you'll notice right now they're coming off the outsides of my hands. If I try it the other way, where the bands come on the inside, if I can do it. That feels all right as well. What I do notice about it is that you have to work a little bit harder to keep your palms up, which that's one of the functions of the biceps, is to rotate the palms upward like that. So I feel like that will kind of work your biceps even better. But basically do what's most comfortable. If you're feeling any pain or discomfort in your wrist with one of those positions, I wouldn't do it in that case. With the loop resistance bands, it's gonna be the same idea. So this time I'll do it here with my 2 feet out, and you're just gonna curl up. And with these loop bands, you can adjust that resistance by, you know, having some slack in the middle so that it has more resistance, or bringing your feet in if you need less resistance. I'll show you from the side. Now obviously with the band, you can see I'm not able to really like rotate my hand at the bottom. It just doesn't really work. And the resistance is very low at the bottom of the movement for a band. With a dumbbell, you have the full weight even at the bottom, but with this, once you get to the bottom, there's almost some slack, you know. Depending on where you are at with your strength, there might be a little bit of tension, but it won't be a lot. Now, if there's a little slack in the band in between, I actually am able to rotate a little bit at the bottom. It's a little awkward, but you can try it and see how you feel. Just remember that any movement that you do, you should never do anything where it feels like you're gonna tweak something or where you're having a little bit of pain. That's never worth it. So the last thing I'll show you here with the bands when you're freestanding like I am right now is you can get these, attach however many are the right resistance for you, and do the same thing. The nice thing about these is the handles. It's a little more comfortable, and you could potentially do that rotation at the bottom. Right now, the length of these, with my height, which is only 5'1", probably almost all of you watching will be taller than me, so maybe you won't have this problem. But if you are short like me, you probably could try widening your legs a little bit so that you have the tension that you need at the bottom. Go sideways. So that's what you can do with the bands. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me. Once again, I'm Rizal with InspireForWomen.com. If you're enjoying what you're learning and working out with me, you can go to my website to get more information. I create workouts and tutorials specifically for women over 40 and almost 40, like myself. I have found as I've gotten older that I'm still strong and beautiful, but my body is changing and my training has needed to change with it. And so that's what I'm here to create, to help both myself and you ladies as well. Have a great day.